shit. I gotta make a review.
I can see, I'm going blind. I can see, I'm going blind. I can see.
Listen to me. We are going on the trip now. It's going to be rough. Hold on! If you hear something in the woods, you tell me. If you hear something in the water, you tell me. But under no circumstance are you allowed to take off your blindfold.
You hear that? The creatures.
So, I watched Bird Box on Netflix. It's got Sandra Bullock, John Malkovich, Machine Gun Kelly, and a bunch of other people in it. Basically, there's something lurking, and if you look at it, it makes you kill yourself. That's the whole gist of the movie. And you gotta pretty much be blind and not be able to see to survive. The thing about this movie, it's not very unique, I guess. I guess it's a unique idea, but you've seen it done many other ways. You know, there's movies like The Happening, there's movies like The Quiet Place, there's movies like The Fog, you know, stuff like that. You gotta run away from something you don't get. It was fine, I guess. It wasn't spectacular, it kept my attention. It had its moments where it was kind of engaging, where you kind of cared and stuff, especially towards the middle. The funny thing about this movie, I noticed it had to cover all the bases. You know, it had the wisecracking black guy, it had the punk rock guy that nobody trusts, it had the angry white guy, it had the big girl, it had the old lady, all that stuff. And it was the pretty girl, you know, it had all that stuff. And it really covered all the bases to stay real ethnically good, I guess. I don't know. These characters a lot of these characters are so one note. They're just what they're supposed to be. Like Machine Gun Kelly's character, he says fucking everything. We're fucking fucked. We're fucking, you know, just fucking everything. It's supposed to be funny, but it's not. John Malkovich is just angry. But he's always right. You know, he's the intellectual. He's like, this isn't a good idea. It's never a good idea whenever he says something. Of course, there's a strong black guy. He's the level-headed guy of the whole situation. Two of the ladies in the house are pregnant. Of course, that brings a little stress to the situation. Some of the logic with some of the way they get around being blind, you know, they do these things to make themselves unable to see. And a lot of it doesn't make sense. There's this part where they're like driving in the car, it's all blacked out, and the monitor's blinking, and they just know which way to turn. I mean, whatever. If you turn your brain off, it's fine. Some of the death scenes are kind of fun. A lot of things aren't really explained in this movie, which sometimes I can appreciate. Like, they want the audience to like think for themselves and come to their own conclusion about what the movie really is. Like, what is this thing? Like I said, it's like The Happening. Like, is it the wind? Is the wind killing these people? What do they see? You never see what they see. There's some of them that can look at it and still survive and just make other people look at it, but then other people, they just commit suicide. Never really explained, never really hashed out. There's like a bunch of sections to this movie. There's like a section where they're getting in trouble. There's a section where they're stuck in the house. There's a section where the babies are born and they're somewhere else. And there's a section where they're going down the river. I thought it was funny, the section where they're going down the river, all of a sudden Sandra Bullock's character turns into Bear Grylls and like knows how to navigate a river, never done in her life. There was some really corny dialogue in this. For the most part, it's kind of natural, I guess. I mean, it was two at the beginning. Her and her sister, they're fucking idiots. They have this conversation where they're like, we should get a glass of wine, when they're in the fucking pregnancy doctor's room, and she's like, don't say that in front of me. I'm like, okay, that was whatever. There's a line where he says they're arguing about surviving for the kids, and he goes, surviving's not living. What? It makes sense. The end of the movie is, it kind of took me out of it. Like, I was kind of into it. I was kind of like, yeah, I think personally a darker ending would have been a lot more satisfying to me because I was ready for everything to go. And, you know, people like their happy endings, I guess. There's a few moments in the movie where you feel like there's a decision that needs to be made, and that it needs to be the right one for the morality of these people. And, you know, that's fine. That's always a good way to pull people in, because when people's morality is put into play, what are they going to do? It makes you think, and it makes you worry, I guess. It's a competent film. I mean, like I said, the concept's so silly. You really think about it, like, you don't know what's going on. Is this an apocalypse movie? Is this the afterlife or what? I'm trying to do this review without giving too many spoilers, but this movie is fine. Average at most for me. It's not a second viewer. I'm not going to go back and watch this again and be like, wow, this is amazing. Maybe with a friend, I guess, if they asked to watch it. But for the most part, it's fine. I wanted to hate it just because the concept seems so silly, but I ended up kind of liking it enough to like not giving a shitty score. So 6.8 out of 10.